Alrighty, let's get into a daily trading recap for Tuesday, the 12th of October, 2021 here. Uh, red day, you could call it, but only one trade on NTRB. Trying for that dip and rip. We'll get into that chart specifically for the breakdown of that, but really not upset by any means whatsoever. I traded it well, a lot better than I normally would have traded those dip and rips, and just really did not feel hardly convicted in a lot of other trades. Could see a lot of other opportunities. I certainly had my cash account back up and running today, so I had the opportunity, and I got a few more day trades back in that margin account if I so wanted to, but just stuck to my guns today, and it did very well, even too of just how I set up my scan chart in the morning too. I normally just kind of fill up that whole 6 chart offering that it gives to click through those little sliders, but just did well to say, hey, keep my priorities there and limit what I was looking at to precisely what I wanted to see, not just filling it up because I could and with random different tickers and charts, but focusing on my setups and sticking to what I knew to and just blocking out all the noise. I think I did absolutely great in focusing on that today. Let's go over some market internals first, just for dollar volume. We are right after the close, 15 minutes from the close here. Again, pretty abysmal dollar volume from NASDAQ. $141 billion volume. Now I see 205 billion, 100 billion, 205, yeah, billion dollar volume. And then OTC is just under $2 billion volume. And then SPY, just a little short little choppy range today. Again, closing a little bit southish. Might be finding a little bit more room to the downside here. Probably testing some of these 430-ish lows around there in the next few days, weeks-ish time frame. Potentially hard for me to say that we bounce well from this, but who freaking knows anymore at this point. So just note, even on SPY 2, even though it was holding this little bit of a range, I offered a nice little dip buy here, and I kind of was just teasing around with the ADD and the tick line again, just refreshing my mind of how I used to trade fairly early on in my trading career, of when I would fool around with options on the side of that, to looking for any morning volatility in that way. That was a nice little percentage move on the option side if you're just trading one out of the money, two out of the money calls with the expiration that would be tomorrow's expiration on Wednesday, trading those dailies and weeklies on SPY. Again, trying to read the signs there. It's certainly a battle. It's certainly a minefield trying to pick through those types of trades, but I could certainly appease my dopamine attention-seeking mindset just by focusing more and practicing on more of those going on in the future too. So that was interesting to see. I may take a little more pokiness at that coming in the next few days, few weeks for funsies, but we'll see. Thought I was seeing a few more afternoon plays ended up working out, kind of like OCGN was a big mover today. I had that one on watch from yesterday. Had a nice perk in the morning session here and was a little bounce off of VWAP and looked like it was holding well, and it looked like it was gonna hold this close decently, but bounced back to VWAP, and you just kind of So kind of actually watching this one as this is going into the watch list as well too, just potentially as I'm keeping that VYGR trade chart in my mind of how it just had a nice little first day move and then just really did nothing that second day, and then that third day, you get that third day surge pattern. This thing just rips to the moon. So trying to keep that same type of parameters and checkboxes on these tickers in watch to see if that can rinse and repeat on different tickers coming forward here. And then NTRB I'll go into. That was my trade on the day too. That was the same kind of thesis with OCGN of, it was potentially looking good as an afternoon hold. RRD was an IC company. Just a little bit of a fake out morning spike dumpage here, just choppy, blah, whatever. But then you get this nice hold. It fails to really ever crack VWAP after the first 3 minutes, 4 minutes of market open. Thought it was going to hold decently. Thought we were just kind of seeing a whole market-wide afternoon VWAP hold type of trade start to emerge once again, but these ones are just kind of falling off, fading once again, similar to how they used to do. A little bit, not as hard or not as immediate as a fall off, just trying to trick the longs immediately from there. It's offering a little bit of a move here in some of these, and then even some of these good ones that held it pretty well. NXE, not the most incredible or amazing percentage move, but I mean, holding VWAP. This is a nice, awesome little repeatable, probable trade on this one. Super sketchy company, of course, but pattern certainly there to recognize, and the upside closing very strong on that one. NXC, NRXP. Just quick mentions on these ones. Same thing, really doesn't ever crack VWAP after first 45 minutes of market open. Stays above VWAP the whole entire day, gives you opportunity-ish to find a decent little consolidation area around some of those points, and played to a very nice close on that one today. I remember this as a former runner. Kind of one and doneiness on this one. Huge volume day, looking at have to need a lot more volume to continue on any potential days after this one, but just good to see, at least within the intraday for the afternoon sessions, that some of these are a little bit decent. I don't want to force my mentality on them or just kind of go blinding that I'm trying to force that, oh, these afternoon plays are working out mindset onto charts that actually aren't saying that. I forget what that type of methodology is called, just biasing your picking of what I'm seeing, I guess is what I'm saying. But these are kind of working out. UEC, again, not the most insane or awesome percentage move, or the not most voluminous, liquid, fast type of trading tickers, but you see a little bounce off VWAP holding well around this like 3.2 high day area, and you get a nice perk again to 3.35. Repeatable and playable trades in that sense. Another chart here, huge spike out of the morning, and then you get this hold consolidation playing anywhere around that high of day. Nice percentage, not a huge, again, percentage move from that VWAP hold, what we considered entry for an afternoon play. But the trade opportunity is there on some of these. So interesting to see. We'll keep our eyes on that going forward for the next few trading days and potentially the rest of this month. And then let's get into NTRB for our trade on the day. Really not a lot of other tickers that I was focused hard on, and saw this one pop up on the scanner as one of the big percentage movers. I knew a lot of other people were going to be in on this one. It had news catalyst of whatever manufacturing agreement. It's got a 424B5 from the 5th of this month. That was only like $6 million, like a million shares from 625. So nothing ludicrous for skelly bones in the closet that were going to be lurking over top of this one. Again, not very confident in these dip and rips because they just haven't been working splendidly. Just a like perfect entry after that consolidation point, and then just repeatable time after time. That's not been happening in my book for what I've been seeing, but still the opportunity is there in a sense too. And this one actually did offer a little bit of a perk here within this first try. Offered a second attempt actually as well. It was curling. I knew Monaco was in the chat. He was pushing this one hard, looking for an upside move off of this one, but it ended up failing a second time after I even tried it on the first one. Then we get this crazy squeeze that was just slapping those shorts who are dumping in on the very predictable and very opportune moment from the second fail at VWAP to say, okay, this thing's dead. Jumping in there, squeeze to the upside into a halt. That was pretty exciting to see. And then just chops around. There's the professional short entry here at this point as it curls back down to VWAP and then breaks below VWAP once again. But then, yeah, like I mentioned with the other introduction ones, kind of holds this little range. It was under VWAP, and then you get the nice curl to the upside after there. It's just shorts lingering around, just waiting, and then they eventually end up getting squeezed in this afternoon session. This halt, into a halt again here for that point, but then just fading into the close. So keep it on watch for the next few days at least to see what it does, similar to VYRG type of thing. But my confidence in it as of right now is just a watch for this point. In that regard. So for the trade specifically, of course, I went on the tick chart to get just a little bit cleaner view of what was happening volume-wise, or where's the allocation of trades going into, where's the speed of the tape printing off at. Just continued to force myself to be patient on this one, just to wait as long as I possibly could. And even through all this consolidation and chop, we get these little fake out attempts to try to blend that they're going to VWAP or they're going to be the move there, but I just knew, hey, wait longer. We still keep that 9:45 time frame in our mind. But then it was just ultimately this little curling that was holding just a little bit closer to this low of day area that was also holding a little bit higher. We got three higher lows put in here. We got 1, 2, 3. Well, it would be 2 low days. And then we get the third one here that holds that previous one. Could have dropped from there if it wanted to, but this was the eventual move that I got a great entry on for my 50 shares. Keeping that position size small relative to what I thought this one could be, not just slapping it blindly with huge position size, of course, for that dip and rip probability of the trade working out that I feel it really isn't there at this point, but just still saying, hey, I think I'm seeing the factors that could spice this thing to the upside, especially for what it did pre-market. It looked like a pretty nice pre-market for what a dip and rip could or should be. And then the smart trader in me too, or how at least I've evolved from this one, from taking so many losses on these ones, just getting immediately slapped. I was able to take off 20 shares right at VWAP here as we're curling, as it gave a nice little time window to take off shares there. So just a little under half of my position. I that was my conviction at that point too, that I thought we were going to climb at least a little bit higher, bounce off of VWAP from there, but it then ended up fading to create a new low of day that I got stopped out pretty much right at the bottom with my last 30 shares at 969 something. So frustrating to see. That was, again, the only trade on the day too, but great progress being made in that regard of however long it took me to frickin' adjust to these dip and rips and understand, hey, you take profits as they are there if that pattern is not 100% keyed in time and time again, that these things are just working out, churning 20-30% moves from your precise entry point. If it does show any amount of weakness, or if it does get you to that point where the point of no return, where, hey, it's either got to work here or it's going to fail, which is essentially this little area right here as it claims back to VWAP, take profits as they're there. Take anything you can off of the table, because now you're locking in profits. It's not huge, it's not awesome, but you are now just freeing yourself up for the mindset of, okay, now if this thing does tank, I was prepared for it. I was far ready in advance for this move to happen, well aware with the idea in the back of my mind that I am ready for the dump. I'm ready for this thing to happen. And how I was able to get this limit order off here right around this VWAP area, and then readjust my order entry window to the 30 shares, and then put that stop right at the low of day. All just the timing factor of it just comes from repetition of doing these things over and over again. So I'm making great strides in that area, I feel, on being able to trade these ones. And yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, as I was watching this thing more, been looking to trade this one as it's kind of claiming this little area here of this very nice consolidation just under VWAP again. You get the little fake breakout attempt to, and then slap down again, but then fails to break to a new low of day. And there that short squeeze trap comes in to effect for that one. Yeah, just hard for me to chase at that point too, even though you could call this, again, a little bit of consolidation. I think Monaco actually did get an entry here around this point in time, and he got to play nicely into the hold and sit pretty for that trade. But that was what I was just going hard at for that first dip and rip attempt too. And I knew if I got stopped out from that entry, if it didn't even offer any reclaim to VWAP, I knew I would have been fine with taking that loss. And I was a little bit early into it, and I knew that these dip and rips don't work out incredibly well recently. So I was just going to take what was offered there, and that was really it. So, yep, that's all I wanted to mention with NTRB. WWR coming into today, I mentioned yesterday I was heavy hard on this one, looking for that short opportunity, and just the gap down was just a little too much for me to establish that blind short entry, really, where I would be sizing into a position anywhere in pre-market, looking for downside on this one. It did offer a little bit of a low. If you were perfect on this one, getting an entry 387-ish and taking out, 365 even, that's a decent trade. Not slam dunk, not even like double or triple territory for a trade percentage move wise, but very decent trade, even for what I was tempted and hesitated to do, because I just want to see more downside opportunity, more panic, which in my mind makes the trade more probable of happening to the downside, because there's more room to come down, right? If it's up way too, that's the short logic, right? If it's up too high, that means there's more room to come down versus there's still plenty of room to go to the upside for this thing, right? But this one actually too ended up, this is a great reminder of never getting greedy as a short and not trying to force things that aren't there, as this thing's just holding it a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, climbing back in the afternoon session. Just gets this crazy squeeze for all those lingering shorts that are just holding on tight for dear life and just rigid and not able to let go of these ones. You get this squeeze. Some of them panicking out, some of them sticking around for getting out just below the open price for what it closed at today. But that was, it is what it is on that one then. Yeah, that's really all I had. Just kind of, again, not too hard on what the moderators are saying, on all the other red names in the chat and the millionaires, and certainly taking their advice and looking at what they're looking at, seeing if they're seeing anything different or crazy far off than what I'm seeing, and opening myself up to all and every perspective, but also understanding, hey, too, I got to trade what I know how to trade, and I just got to stick to what I know. And that's, I feel so much more empowered and encouraged to trade each and every single day too, because of that fact too. I'm not just piggybacking off of someone else. I'm not just pushing buttons randomly and hoping that it works out. It's just identifying patterns. And now it's becoming not about me and my ego attached to the trade itself, because I wasn't trading a trade plan earlier, but now it's addressing the plan. And how can we fine tune the plan and adjust the stops and risk levels and the attitudes of all these stocks too? So it's becoming more and more exciting every single day too. I think I say that every single day, but it certainly is, I think. So watch what's going in for tomorrow, just preliminary right now. NTRB, I certainly, like I mentioned, keep it on watch. OCGN a little bit as well. RRD, same type of thing for how it's holding well here. Maybe a third day surge style of play too. If we get a rest day or consolidation, nothing to say tomorrow. If we get this $7 whole dollar level here, also with this technical high here, that's not necessarily where the volume is on this chart for the volume profile, but technical levels are super sexy. And so keeping it on watch potentially for, that would be Thursday. And then LAC, put in some nice moves today here. It's a higher floater, but again, that technical level breakout is just kind of looming in this $25 level, whole dollar level area. Also an emotional, psychological level. It's a very strong close today with decent volume. So we'll see if, certainly it has to put in that strength of volume to move tomorrow immediately, but we could see a little bit more rest coming from the next few days, and then we eventually get that push to the upside around this little cupish pattern here that I would potentially like to be a part of. It looks like it's trading pretty decently minute by minute here for price action on that one, and it is an icy company as well. And then KOSS is just moving pretty crazy here in the after hours. I don't think I saw any specific news catalyst for this one, but this is a former runner. Let's check if anything comes out. I see a Form 4 that got released right at the close here, but nothing other crazy yet. When I was doing my scan, I just didn't see anything specific on it. But yeah, former runnerness on it, moving kind of crazy in this close here for some reason. Low float of 5.3 million. Could get redonkulous. So we'll keep it on watch. I love redonkulousness. That's just call me that as a trader. That is my entire style. But we'll see what it does here into the close of after hours and then the pre-market tomorrow. See if anything lines up to be able to trade on that regard. But that was all I had. Coming in nice and sweet and short with this little 17-minute video today too. That was all I had. I'm tapped. I think that is absolutely everything. I thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.